Soil brothers and soil sisters.
Soil family.
So we're doing some multi-screaming today. Yeah, we're trying to get it all together. So I
Yes.
think that, we're a little off, right?
No.
We
Oh, well, we late because we always fashionably late. So I think Instagram is working now. I think Facebook ain't working yet. So, good morning, Soil family. Today is Sunday morning. Self-healing chat. I hope y'all had an amazing weekend. We had a good weekend. We didn't do nothing yesterday until we went to the wedding, and that's all we did. Wedding vibes all day. So congratulations to our cousin,
Yes.
little cousin. She was so cute, but she was so scared. When she walked out, it was like, oh my God, all our people are here. What am I supposed to do? Walk down the aisle and get married. So congratulations to them. Everything was beautiful.
I realized yesterday that, I don't go to a lot of weddings because, it felt so good to see a couple coming together. I don't see that often, and everything I hear is that couples are not coming together. So to be able to see that and feel all the hope and inspiration and dreams and, all the future conquest to come, it just felt really, really, really good. And I hate the fact that this is not promoted more, but it is an amazing thing. And I think that, I don't know the way things are going. I don't know if it's gonna get any better. I don't know.
Well, it's a possibility.
I'll be hopeful.
I always say, as long as you trust God, all things are possible. We can't predict the future, and we can't say exactly what. We know what it look like now, but we also know things can change.
You know how
gotta
strong you gotta be to keep the world out of your relationship. Like you gotta be extremely strong. You got the families and the friends and everybody trying to dictate what you should and shouldn't do, or what you should tolerate in your relationship, and that takes some extreme strength. So anybody who's making it work these days, guys,
keep doing what you're doing. I love when we run across people and they say, "Oh, I've been married. I've only been married 40-something years," and I'm like, "That's what I'm talking about, boy. Look at God. It is possible."
It's definitely possible back then. Is it possible now?
It's possible now. It just depends on the person and the work. Can't nobody tell me I can't do nothing, because nobody know my strength like me other than God. But I know that I know my strength and what I can and can't do. Sometimes will I push the pencil to see? Yeah, but I still feel like there's a possibility that I can get this done. Now, if I sit back and say, I can't do this, or I can't, of course I ain't, because I'm already speaking down on it. So you got to put in the work, and that's the thing. And when it comes to a marriage, it takes two, not just one person to work. You got to work, and not one person working by themselves. Y'all got to work together, because now you are a team, so.
Mental health, being in the right space in a relationship is so important, and it absolutely has to do with your health, because if you let your mind go awry, your body follows suit.
Yes.
And nothing works right when your mind is not, in check. Keeping your hormones balanced and just being cognizant of the world is important, because the way you look at things means everything, because that's what's going to make you stress out. That's going to put all the issues into your body. The cortisol levels go up, and then you start gaining weight, and then it's a chain reaction after that. So
that's when you make yourself sick.
Yeah, being focused is important, and getting poisonous people out of your life is so important. It's hard enough to stay focused with, all the stuff that they're putting in our foods. To actually have somebody in your ear whispering, negative things that's going to affect you in a negative way down the line is double the problem. So guys, I implore you, find good people, hold on to them.
Yep. I always say the devil is busy. And we got to stay prayed up and stay on top of it, because when he strikes, he ain't going to leave us alone. He'll never leave us alone. So when he strikes, you just gotta be ready. You gotta have that armor of God on. But with that being said, yesterday we had a very good conversation at the reception. It was funny because the whole table was in the conversation.
Talking about health.
Talking about health. And Fat Man, his name Chris. I'm like, what's his name? One of your good friends, longtime friends, said something very important. I love talking to him because he be on it, and I know he don't watch us. He be on it.
I don't think nobody we do what. Well,
I know my brother,
really.
my brother and sister-in-law do, but I don't think Fat Man is a Facebook person. But he said, you know what make people sick, and I say this all the time. He said, you know what really make people sick? He said, you know, first we go to the doctor, and we listen to everything they say. When there's a bigger doctor that we should listen to, we always telling us how and what we should do. Listen to your body, listen to your doctor. He said, but the biggest problem we have with ourselves, when we go to the doctor and they say, oh, you have high blood pressure, or your cell counts are off, or whatever they tell you to make you believe that you are sick. He said the first thing we do is we stress. And that's when all the sickness set in, because you have already programmed your brain to, oh my God, I'm gonna die, or oh my God, what's gonna happen with me? Instead of saying the devil is a liar.
Yeah, the brain is a powerful thing. Yeah. If you can convince yourself that something is bad enough, you're gonna actually live that out, and you're gonna feel it. Your body is gonna react to that. People used to ask me all the time how I got through certain things that was really, really hard. You know, I control my brain. You know, if you can control your brain, you can actually control the outcome. And it's hard to do, but, you know, I can literally blank out whatever's going on at that moment that's hurting and hard, and I can just go through it. Because I tell myself, stressing out or freaking out is not going to change the situation. Might as well go ahead and accept what's going on. If it's, you know, if it ain't going to kill you, just go ahead and get through it, you know. And generally that works, you know, but it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But
So,
your brain is your control panel, and if you can't control how it decides to go, if you can't control whether or not it get extremely negative and stressful versus looking at it and just accepting it as life and moving on, it's a whole thing, guys.
one thing we have to do when we going through stuff, and we go to the doctor, you know, I'm sure we got enough followers to where somebody going to the doctor every day that follow us. Throughout the whole group of our followers, somebody is visiting a doctor on a regular, every day that's in our circle. The root, the deep down in the soil where you need to start is, why am I here? Why is my blood pressure high? Why is my cholesterol off? Why are these issues? Is it mental? Is it something that I'm putting in my head? Or is it really like this? And what do I do before I start taking all these synthetics? Because they will load you up with medicine. Where do I start? I always say, go back and do some research. Do some self-searching. See, what am I consuming? Mind, body, and soul. Like, what am I listening to? What am I watching? What am I eating? What am I putting on my body? All of this stuff.
Who am I around?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who you listening to? What you watching? What you eating? And what are you putting on your body? And that's when you start your healing. Not stressing. We ain't gonna stress because we serve a good God, and we know that He is a healer, and He built us or made us so that the body can heal itself. So our first thing is, how do I heal myself? Trust God. And turn into all of His products.
I say, guys, you know, I am long ways from a conspiracy theorist, but I realize I do sound like one now, because once you actually find out that all this stuff, all these preservatives and chemicals that they're putting in our food is doing what it's doing to our bodies, and then them not talking about all the natural ways that you can you can combat this thing. And then, keep pushing more and more synthetics on you to the point where it's obviously not about your health. It's about the money they can get out of you. I sound like a conspiracy theorist, and I realize that. But I'm going to tell you, once you go down this little rabbit hole, guys, I'm telling you, my wife been a nurse, she had saw the pills being pushed out there. I've been a police officer. And I have seen death investigations where people's dresser is completely full of prescription meds. And I almost can guarantee you those meds started with one that had a side effect that led to a couple more, when whatever was going on with those people could have just started with something that an herb could have fixed. I mean, literally fixed. Now, the synthetics that we take don't fix nothing. All they do is pacify.
Yep.
And then it causes more issues.
Yep. More issues.
Mm-hmm.
Pacify and make more issues.
So, you have to do your own homework. I only say this because we were talking about this yesterday. They make you feel like there's only one way to combat the problems. So if you don't know that there's another way, you're going to jump on whatever pills that they have. And when you do that, guys, all that is a chain reaction, more and more. And most people don't know when you take these synthetic meds, it tears up your liver, it tears up your insides because it has to process all that stuff. And when you on pain meds, guys, it's not addressing your pain. It is blocking pain receptors. So if you have a bad pain somewhere in your arm and they give you some pain meds, all they're doing is sending something to your brain that block that receptor to tell your body that it's hurting. You still have that pain. So you're not really addressing the problem. And that's what most of the synthetics, is there a time that you need them? Yes. You have to take them at a certain time. You just came out of surgery and you having a problem, but you should not be living or being on them for a substantial amount of time. You should be trying to find something that's going to fix the problem. Inflammation.
Yeah, what's causing the issue and what's going to fix it, not pacify it. And one of our friends was saying her and her husband went to Jamaica a few weeks ago, and she was saying how they talked about using the plants for everything. That was their medicine. She said, even when they season food. And I said, oh yeah. That's why we started growing our own seasonings, because it's so much better. A little bit go a long way. I said, but all of our medicine started with a plant. You can use this plant in place of that. Say for instance, like we use cayenne beets for blood pressure medicine. We know what's in that, cayenne and beet. I see somebody say, what is in the blood pressure medicine? What's in it? So that's what we need to start thinking about. What is in it? So even when we go to the grocery store, I always say, you can eat anything you want. The ingredients matter. What's in that pack matter. So what's in my blood pressure medicine? I said everything started from a plant. And man came along and said, you know what? We need gazillions of pills and different things and treatments to be able to sell people. It's okay. They know that it's not doing, and the doctors will tell you, you will be on this for the rest of your life.
So Zink said that the term natural has no definition according to the FDA.
What's natural?
I think if you never mess with it, it came up the way it is and it's untouched. Yeah. That's natural to me. If you grew a plant that's been around forever, and you grew it naturally, it's natural. So untouched. And I would say more untouched by man. So when people ask what these synthetics are, what's in them, so what they'll do is they'll find these plants that they don't tell us nothing about. They will study and find the active ingredient in those plants, and then they will try to duplicate it using synthetics. When they do it with synthetics, they have to find a way for it to be uptaken into your body. So that's when all the other stuff come in. So for one, the active ingredient is not the plant, but what they did is try to duplicate what the plant does.
Yeah, synthetic.
Yeah, now they gotta make it to where it can process through your body, which cause your liver and all your other organs to work really hard to get that stuff to work, when you could have just took whatever the herb is. But where's the money in that, right?
So that's what it's all about, money. And the sad part about it is they playing with our lives so that they can keep their pockets lined. So when we talk about natural, like we are not natural people, but we are trying to live a more natural life and not take away from, not be weird about it. I guess that's what you call it. Because we like to go out, we love to travel. What are we gonna do when we traveling and going out? Like I was telling Mom, I said, my niece and nephew want to go fishing. They want to take them fishing, and I said, well, yeah, you know, I know because they'll be traveling from Virginia to here, they got to eat and drink like us. Because when we get on the boat, all we're going to have in the cooler is things that we eat and drink. But it won't be so weird to where they like, how they living off this? We eat food, but we make better choices. So when you go in the store, you want more natural products. You want mainly, for the big part, you want to look at the first ingredient. That's usually our biggest, that's what's most of in the whatever the product is you buying. Whatever the main ingredient is, you want to make sure it's something as natural as it can be and not something that they have played with and turned into something else.
I agree. I mean, when, you know, if you see us out and about, we live life normally. You know what I mean? What we do is we make these choices at home. You know, if we decide to go out and have a meal, we pick a restaurant where we feel more comfortable, but we still eat. And not stuff that we would typically eat at home, but we will eat. And so, you know, I know people are diehard, whatever they are. You may be a diehard vegetarian.
Hold up.
Or
They
carnivore.
say
Yeah.
that, so it's a different, especially I see that a lot on social media. People will say, I don't do this and I don't do that. And I only do this, but they say. Now people will say and do anything for clicks, views, because it make them money. I don't care about clicks, views, and making money. We want to get information out. We are human people. So people will say, oh yeah, I only do this and I only drink that or only eat this. 9 times out of 10 is generating some type of revenue for them, which I think is sad, because I'd rather tell people the truth. You know, what I look like sitting here saying, oh yeah, we don't eat out, we don't do this, we don't grocery shop at all. Our grocery bill is very small. That's a blessing. I mean, we do bulk buy like our meats and different things, but we bulk buy our meats from a local butcher, which in return, we haven't really had to buy meat in 8 months. You know, so I wouldn't lie to people and say, no, we don't do this. We are human. We travel. We like getting out. Our cousin got married yesterday. What we look like sitting at the table.
We can't eat none of that.
We don't eat this and we don't drink that. We enjoyed ourselves, you know, and then when you come home, that's when you can be strict to it. But
So Zane,
don't let people.
congratulations on 265 to 190, 197. That is amazing. So congratulations.
Yeah, you can control. I tell people all the time. They say, "Well, what can I do to lose weight?" Watch your ingredients is one big thing. Now, moving is also good, but if you can watch your ingredients and make better choices, you'd be surprised. The body will do exactly what it needs to do, but we gotta put it in. We gotta put it in gear. Once you get the body in gear, it will automatically start losing weight and doing what it needs to do.
Chad, what Alice said, 286 to 144. Congratulations. So calorie restriction and eating, trying to cut back on all the preservatives and junk in your food is really, really important, guys. You can cut your calories and still ingest a whole bunch of junk and not see no results. There's people who hardly not eating anything, but they're eating what they are eating are the wrong things. You know, like one of my neighbors, he's a straight vegetarian, but he's been gaining weight.
Yeah,
And
the wrong choice.
yeah, so he eating a lot of breads, he eating bagels and stuff like that, and he using regular wheat. which is causing his body to have all this inflammation, and you know he's having issues.
Yeah.
So he's a strict vegetarian. I mean, he absolutely no meat.
Yeah.
So it's if you cut out the fact that he's not eating no meat, but yet his body is still acting up, the wheat is there.
I would definitely, two things with him. He either need meat, but he definitely need to clean up his wheat and products, because he eat a lot of wheat products. But he may need wheat, and we had that conversation yesterday also, where people tried to go plant-based or vegan for a certain amount of time, and it made them extremely sick. So sometimes you got to pay attention to your body. A lot of people will try to put in their mind, well, just eating, cutting out meat is very healthy, and it ain't for everybody. This is why you have to know if you are sick or you can't get it together, you ain't got no energy, you may need, your body may be telling you that, hey, I need some food. That doesn't mean go eat any kind of meat. You need clean meat. Again, the ingredients matter.
Guys, I would tell you, don't never jump on a bandwagon of anything. Make sure you do your own research and find out what's going to be the best route for you. Mm-hmm. And just because these people believe this, don't necessarily mean it's true. Because there's a whole group of people that believe other things. Some people think that you should just eat vegetables. Some people say you should just eat fruit. Some people say you should just eat meat.
What is your body saying?
What are you going off of when you come to these conclusions? And if what they're saying makes sense to you, go and see what the other people are saying and see if that makes sense to you. And then you're going to have to grab all the information, put it together, and peel back the layers. Now, if you don't have the ability to make those decisions on your own, then you're going to have to do trial and error. If you try being vegetarian and your body is not acting right, then you need to look at something else. If you try eating carnivore and your body is not doing right, you need to look at something else. Now, could it be where you sourcing your vegetables from? That could possibly be. Could it be where you sourcing your meat from? That could be also. Because, guys, we were talking about this yesterday, and when you spray a chemical on your fruits and vegetables,
it's there forever.
It absorbs into the fruit and vegetable. Whether or not you can see it or not, it's there. And when you eat it, now it's in you. So people are so into the perfect looking fruit or vegetable. There can't be no blemishes on it. That means I got to do so much. For one, I got to create a vegetable or fruit that pests don't like. On top of, I got to spray stuff on it that makes it even more intolerable to pests. And then I get a perfect looking fruit. I put it in the grocery store so people can eat it. Yeah. Don't get no health benefits from it, but get all the poisons that you're putting in it. So understand that a lot of vegetables are the ones that's in the store, they've been made so they can last longer in the store. A lot of vegetables and fruit and meat.
Mm-hmm. So the thing with, I see somebody saying went plant-based for 67 years and herbalists that have cured a couple things including STDs, and that's possible. Mm-hmm. The biggest issue with plant-based is somewhere they're not getting enough protein, minerals, vitamins, something. And when people go plant-based, they start leaning towards these vegan meats, plant-based meats or whatever. So they start buying like these impossible meats or whatever from the store. That stuff is loaded with garbage. So you have to be very, very careful, because people will go plant-based or vegan, but they still want something that reminds them of meat. So they'll start buying these all pre-made meat, chicken nuggets or whatever it is. That meat is horrible for our system. But you thinking it's plants, it's plant-based, but it's man-made.
What was that powder you used to put in there to make it come to meat? So we used to play with plant-based food, making what do you call it, plant meat?
I call it plant meat because that's what I was doing was taking like
some kind
vegetables.
of gluten or something.
I can't remember the name of
Yeah,
it,
it was
but I
something.
would take like sweet potatoes and carrots and broccoli, and I would cook it down to make whatever, a meatball. But I would add, I forgot the name of it. I would add this powder to it, which they say is all natural, to make it, give it the meat type texture or whatever. It tastes okay, but you know, then I started thinking, well, what is this powder? And I know you can make bean burgers or different things without all that stuff, but you know, if you're not making it yourself, you got to be careful with these plant-based things. The body has the ability to kill it, to cure itself. We just got to be careful with the ingredients. Don't let the terms plant-based, vegan, carnivore, intermittent fast, don't let these terms fool you, because you'll be thinking, oh, I can do this, oh, I can just buy that, and this is good, this is a better choice. Sometimes it's way worse.
I think a lot of people want to be on a team. So you want to differentiate yourself from other people. So you jump on one way or the other. If you're plant-based and it's working for you, go for it. If you're carnivore and it works for you, go for it. You know, I made my decision based off of science. I went back and I looked at what it means to be a meat eater, right? I know that we are predators because our eyes are in the front of our heads, right? So that's for depth perception. That means we hunt. If you look at most vegetarians or plant eaters, their eyes are on the side of their heads because they got to look out for predators. And plant eaters are not able to process meat. Their bodies are not able to process meat. You know, so therefore, you know, logically to me, it don't make sense that we're not supposed to eat meat. Now, with that being said, guys, what they're doing to meats today, you know, putting a whole bunch of antibiotics in the food so that the animals don't get sick. You know, putting all these poisons in these animals because they got them all locked up in some small little section. And in order for them not to lose all of their livestock, they got to dump a whole bunch of chemicals into the way they're feeding their animals. And what you eat is what you are, right? So if them animals got all this stuff in them and we eat it, then we getting all that junk too. On top of putting this meat in these stores and then they putting all these chemicals in it to make the color stay pretty so it can look good on the shelves. What is all that stuff doing to you? You know, so is it the meat or is it the process?
It's always the process in my eyes.
Yeah, so when you can find a good source of meat, which we have learned to find a local farmer, you know, that does it right, you know, grass-fed, you know, without all the chemicals, then, you know, that's the way we go.
And without that ugly process, like the process is ridiculous that the meats go through. Chicken, pork, whatever it is, beef, I don't care what kind of meat it is. The process for it to sit on the grocery store counter is ridiculous. They'll name it grass-fed or whatever, but what is it for real? It's loaded with chemicals. And then, 9 times out of 10, they don't even sell it all before it expires. So what do they do then? Because they ain't throwing away nothing. Mm-hmm. They cannot waste a bunch of things in the store. They either gonna cook it right before it expires or they gonna refresh it and give it more life. So we don't see the nasty, you know, because what we do, we pick our products by what they look like. We'll stand there and flip through 30 packs of chicken looking for the best looking chicken, the prettiest chicken.
I saw where some people actually went into a grocery store and they did a bunch of tests on chicken from a bunch of stores, and most of them had salmonella in them. Mm-hmm. You know, so a lot of that chicken was bad. But you know, you go home and if you cook it good enough, then you don't get sick. So, but what is that doing? Yeah, what is that doing to your body still? Yeah. So, you know, these are just thoughts. And one thing, if you don't cook your food from scratch, guys, you don't realize how they do the stuff in the stores. Because there's no way you cooking something from scratch and being able to wrap it up in a thin piece of plastic and have it sit on the shelf for months and it still be good.
Them seasoned meats, they had, look, they be had stuff. Oh, somebody said.
Cookies and candies and everything, all that stuff, guys. Ask yourself a simple question. If you cook bread or cookies or cakes, and after a while it get hard and start growing fur, that means the bacteria are starting to eat on it.
Yeah, it only take a few days.
Why is it not eating the stuff in the store?
Even after a few weeks.
After a few months, sometimes
Yeah,
cookies and stuff, the candies. If bacteria is not eating it, why should you? Because, that's a living organism, but they got so much stuff in them that bacteria can't survive off of it. But we're eating it, and it's one of those things that you have to get to a point in your life to where you realize, but it took us doing this, cooking stuff from scratch, living the way we live in before we started asking these questions. Because, when I saw people die back in the day and I used to see all the medication, I never questioned it. But now that I see that these herbs work so well, and now I know that the prescription meds don't do anything, I'm sitting there thinking back like, wow, all these people died and they didn't care. All they did is kept on pushing more and more meds on them. And all they was doing is trying to get as much money out of them before they pass away as they possibly can. And keep people poor, because a lot of people go bankrupt because all the medications they got to buy,
And the thing is, like, we got to accept aging. We getting older and things change as we age. If you think about back in the days, I mean, I know I ain't but so old, but back in the days, our people lived long lives, long, healthy lives. When now, even in our 30s, 40s, 50s, we start going downhill. As soon as we hit 30, things start changing. Why is that?
Some people are doing it a lot earlier.
Some a lot early. Some of our kids are sick. I talked about that too. I always say, when I was little, the neighborhood came outside when I was little. We lived in this one big neighborhood. The neighborhood came outside. I'm blessed to still know the neighborhood, the people that are still with us. Some have passed away, but none of us went on a picnic or ate at each other's house with a card saying what I'm allergic to and what I can't eat. Like if we went, say for instance, one grandma was the neighborhood grandma, and she would feed us all some days. Grandma made spaghetti. We were all eating spaghetti. It wasn't, oh, such and such can't eat tomatoes, or this person can't eat that. This need to be gluten. Nobody was gluten free when I was little. Not one person. We all ate peanut butter and jelly. We drank them little huggy juices. Nobody was on a strict diet, and nobody was sickly when we were little. Not saying nobody at all was sick, but what happened to that? So we know one day we will return home. So our job is not to stay here forever. Our job is to be as healthy as we can while we are here, because God already knows when we coming home and how. We don't know, but some people think they beating the odds or keeping themselves alive longer. No, we're not going to do that. But we can keep ourselves healthier while we are here.
So Big Pharma said that, Big Pharma is in the business of keeping us sick.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it is, guys. You have to look at it like this. This is a business.
A big business.
So keeping your customers is what you need to do. Why would I want to lose my customers if I'm in it for the business? I'm not really in it to make nobody better. I'm in it to make as much money for my company as possible. And you are the way they do it. You losing your life don't matter to them. What's the difference in a street dealer and them? One of them is legal.
That's all.
But they don't do, it's no different. That stuff harms you, big time. But everybody's got their hand out with them, right? So everybody, is getting some money from you being on those meds and getting sick. It's all the way from, go see the doctor, let me send you to this specialist, and let me send you to this other specialist, and let me send you to the pharmacy. And then go back to this other specialist, and let me send you to my other friend that's a specialist. And everybody getting a piece.
Yeah.
And then as you get sicker and sicker, more and more medication. And this is for the rest of your life, which may not be very long, but then it could be for the next 20, 30 years. But by the time you die, there's been thousands, hundreds of thousands of more people that got on board. So, and you got to understand, Food and Drug Administration, the people that's making the foods
And the drugs.
are making the drugs.
Why
So,
is that in the same sentence?
yeah, so if I can make something that makes you sick, but then I can make something that address that problem, hey, let's take and put this chemical in all these foods so that eventually you're going to have these ailments, and guess what? I got something for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. If we could take a pause for a minute, I'd be forgetting to say it. If y'all can like this live, show some type of reaction, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we'd appreciate that. If you are not following us, be sure to hit that follow button. It does help us. We don't get paid on Facebook, but it still help us, or Instagram. But it's all good. We're going to have these conversations, but more people need these conversations.
Yeah.
And take a second to share this live out. Sometimes just hearing a few words can encourage somebody to make a better choice, or teach them that, wait a minute, what you mean? I got videos I need to start putting out when we go in the grocery store. The other day I wanted to, but I was like, there were some people in there that knew me, so I said, maybe I shouldn't be in here filming right now. But where we showing you how the ingredients matter and how you can do this in a cleaner way. Can we trust things in the store? Not really. But there are better ways we can do things. Some things we got used to and we just go in there and pick it up because it's convenient. And I'm a creature of habit. But we got to get out of these habits because they can be terrible and they can be detrimental to our life. And some of us are bringing kids in this world and we pushing all this junk on them before they even get here. We don't give them a chance. So we can make better decisions, but if you share this live out, we can definitely reach more people and encourage them to make better choices, because together we are stronger.
Leah said that, we absolutely need this information. And, we're not fanatics in anything, guys. So what we do is we have learned a whole lot of different things since we started living this life. And if we are shocked and surprised by the stuff that we have figured out, we know you will be too. Now, is there people out there that's fully aware of this? Yes. But there are so many people that now have something to think on. You have to have the information in order for you to put it in play. And sometimes if that information don't come across, then you ain't got nothing to think about, right? So, it's up to you. We say that, when you go to a doctor and the doctor tells you that you got to be on these medication, know that you got another route. And then if you decide to go that route, that's going to be up to you. If you decide to get on the synthetics, even though there's possibly another way to do it, then that's up to you. No smoke here. We ain't trying to, make you feel bad about it, nothing. But we think you should have the option. We think you should actually know that there's other ways.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't see the thing with us is we ain't got time. Most of the time we go in the grocery store, it's like I need to pick up some bread, lunch meat, chips, and grab something to drink, and I'm out. If we slow down a little bit and look at the ingredients, we can make better choices in the bread, the lunch meat, the chips, and the drinks. It's just taking the time to figure it out. So to help, when we go in the store sometime, we'll record a little, look at this, everyday products that most of us use, because people always say, oh, I use King Arthur now, I use White Lily, whoever it is. So now what we'll do is show you the ones that most people use or things we've used and what we've switched to and why we switched to them. It just take a second to read those ingredients and understand them.
It's Megan over here on Instagram said, if the grocery store has a health food section, what do you call the rest of the store?
And the health food section is high. I mean, you gotta be careful even with the health food section.
It is not. I mean, yeah,
Because it's trash.
Yeah,
Like
it
the
is.
ingredient. And people, and I'm telling you, this is all we read is what's on the front of the pack. Most people don't turn around to see what are the main ingredients, what are the ingredients. Since I've been doing that, I be in the store. I told Bobby the other day, I said, let me get out of here because I can do this all day. I was picking up stuff and putting it in the cart because I wanted to make a video, and I was like, no, get out this store. I can do that all day, reading ingredients.
I'm gonna tell you guys one thing you can do. You know, if you have a primary and you having a problem where you're deficient in certain minerals, and you've been taking minerals from the grocery store, or you start taking the minerals from the grocery store because you got those issues, go back and see if that fixed any of those issues. Because you can take a bottle of, let's say, zinc or magnesium from out of one of these big box stores and absolutely get none. Get no magnesium, no zinc, no iron, no nothing from any of that stuff. Because it's got to be bioavailable to your body. So you can take it and it'll just pass through you because it's not able, your body not able to uptake it. So foods and natural herbs will be your best bet into getting those things into your body.
I call them God's food, God's medicine. When we go back to God's food, as simple as this salt. What people say, oh, I don't use salt because it run my blood pressure up. Not when you're using God's salt. When it's coming straight from the earth and not being tampered with by man, because man will come along and say, oh, if we do this, that, and the third, we're going to make it better. You can't outdo God's work. This is God's work. Plain salt. Nothing been leached from it and nothing been added to it. That's what we need. God gave us this in perfect form. Why do we need to do anything to it other than use it the way he intended for us to use it? This is when the body started healing itself. When you go back to God's way, God's food, getting it from the earth. You know, they making a lot of this stuff. We were talking about unseeded fruits yesterday. What is it? You know, what are we doing here? Of course, a lot of this stuff is unseeded because them seeds heal. That's why they'll tell you, don't eat this, don't eat that seed, don't eat that. Some of these seeds we need to swallow before we swallow these pills. But because we don't know no better, and they said, don't do this because your medicine dead.
And down.
What if I do it naturally?
Probably miss you.
That probably was 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Now he like, oh, let me scroll back.
So guys, if y'all don't know, like, we love Red Mist Real Salt. We have taken classes and we understand what salt is now. And a lot of us have no idea. So when you buy those salts from the grocery store, they are leached of all the vital nutrients. All you get is sodium. And you may read on there that they put, what is it, zinc? No,
No. Sodium dioxide.
No, what they try to replace in that.
I don't know. I can't remember. Because I don't know what you're trying to say.
I think of it in a minute. But they'll try to replace it with another, when they already had it in it before they leached it out. So, when you got a real salt, which in, you know, we've been to the mines and we went down there, this salt has 60 plus trace minerals. So all those minerals that you are trying to get from these supplements that you buy from the store is naturally available in this salt, right? But what they do is they try to leach it all out and put it in other things so that they can actually use it. But trying to put it back in other ways don't allow it to be available to the body. So you have to eat things that naturally got it in it. So the salts, 60 plus trace minerals. Ounce to ounce was just as valuable as gold back in the days, right? And then we're talking about you got to eat green leafy vegetables. Now, when I say that, you have to get the natural, original leafy green vegetables in order to get a substantial amount. nuts. You need those, to get some of that stuff out, in your body. You got to make sure ain't nothing been done to that. So it's really important. You have to be mindful because the foods that we eat now, they naturally don't have the stuff in it that our bodies need.
They've been heavily processed, and that's the thing. Like I tell people all the time, sometimes it's not the product, it's the process.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say, "Oh, I'm allergic to this, I'm allergic to that," are you allergic to that itself, or are you allergic to the process? Because when you think you can't eat something, but if you go, say for instance, milk, I cannot drink milk, it upset my stomach, it's not, no, I can't drink dairy, I can't do dairy. But then when you get it in raw form, straight from the cow, that will show you sometimes that it's not the product, it must be the process. But we kind of ignore the process and just automatically toss something to the side and say, I can't eat this. It's the process.
Yeah, so guys, this is sounding like a conspiracy theory again, but they take all the magnesium and micronutrients out of our foods, and our bodies are not acting right. We having pooling of water in our body, body parts, we getting a bunch of information. We're not able to use our water in our body like we're supposed to.
We also get things like migraines, low energy, weak bones, pain, anxiety, sleepless nights, depression, and bad hearts from not having magnesium, being that you mentioned it.
Yeah, so that is crazy. You know what, guys? Because, when you have that problem, you got to go through a whole bunch of stuff. Some of us go to the hospital. And guess what they do?
They give you
magnesium.
They put them fluids. We're going to give you some
They'll
fluids.
give you some fluids.
Yeah.
If you read the bag will say magnesium.
And you can do that to yourself.
You can do that for yourself. You just got to find the correct way to put the magnesium in your body, and you got to take it on a regular basis because you need a certain amount every day. And if you're not getting it, your body is not going to function right. So we need water.
Yeah,
and if our body is not uptaking the water, if we just going to the bathroom or if it's just pooling somewhere, our body is not using it. And the reason why it's not using it is because we don't have those micronutrients in us. And that's something that I'm sure, a lot of people didn't know. I had no clue. Just like the salt, I had no clue. Just like all the minerals, I had no clue. Just like the wheat, I had no clue. So talking about the wheat.
I thought when Bobby was, what's that, Katie, the salt? When Bobby was diagnosed with diabetes, I thought we were doing something by me making our breads and different things homemade. So once we took everything from our diet and only ate meat for a few weeks, and you could see everything was reversing in him. His numbers were starting to be good, and we were trying to figure out, but how do you eat without intentionally killing yourself? Like, how do we do this better? Like, how do you not eat a sandwich for the rest of your life because it could run your blood sugar up so bad? Or how do we do this?
Information. When you find out that the wheat today was man-made, it was made in a lab, and all the stuff that your body's supposed to have has been taken out, and they put more of some of the other things. You want to know why you're gluten intolerant? Because they got way too much gluten in the breads today and the wheat today, and it's not a good gluten because your body don't know what to do with it. That's where all your problems come from.
That's
all your
inflammation
inflammation and problems.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't know that.
That's the main issue. Is it's a man-made gluten that they put in the modern flour because they take the germ from it, and which is the good gluten that we need in our wheat. They take it out and then they put a bunch of synthetics. This is this enriched process that we get. Put a bunch of synthetics in there, and our body doesn't recognize that. So that's why people start this gluten intolerant thing. Oh, is that gluten free? If you switch to an ancient grain, you won't have these gluten issues.
Yeah.
And that's what we were trying to find. Like, how do we incorporate not just bread, but wheat and rice and whatever. So I started buying things like quinoa and trying to find something. Now we switched over to black rice, ancient grains, and we also use even our pasta now is made with ancient grains or cassava flour, which is a better process and product compared to the everyday junk.
Yeah, guys. We actually found this information out, like, we were mind blown, and we felt like we just had to spread this. Now, we are affiliates of Redlands. You can get a 15% discount if you decide to use them, but we were talking about them way before we was affiliates.
Yeah.
Even the bread company, the wheat. We've been talking about this, the ancient grains, and because we talked about them, we was reached out to and we was able to affiliate with them. We have been reached out to by a lot of companies, and we just won't deal with them because we realize that some people are sick, people are hurting, and we are not finna sit here and talk about products that's gonna make your situation worse.
Yeah,
right?
because even when we talked to the owner of Ancient Grains, he said, "Well, what can we do for you?" And we were like,
"What you want to do?"
We were like, "Keep processing, making this wheat, these berries, because this can save life." Yeah, I said, we use your products, so we gonna talk about it. And he was like, "Well, I see y'all some more wheat." I mean, that's all we want is a clean product. This is money in our pockets because this gonna keep us out of the doctor's office. It's gonna keep us healthier. It's gonna keep us good compared to I can run to the store and get a bag of flour. I can get a 25-pound bag of flour for $9. That wasn't doing it for us. I thought it was. Mm-hmm. I was making homemade breads every 2 to 3 days, but that wasn't doing it. Now we don't have any issue, and it was just switching our wheat products. So we got to look at everything different now, and can't just say that ain't it. Or let me get this one. They do it to all of them. That I see Albert said, enrich means they replaced what they took out with synthetics.
Exactly.
They took the good out and put synthetics, which is the bad, in. And most of the time we think when we see enriched, oh, that's probably better for us because we want to enrich our soul. We want to enrich our lives. It ain't the same when it comes to our food. When they do enrichment, it's all fake. It's all synthetic.
Yeah,
and the body doesn't know that.
The words,
Yep. The body doesn't recognize it, and the body rejects it. So if you switch to something like an ancient grain, you'll see that gluten intolerance, eczema, asthma, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, excessive weight gain, all these things will change for you if you just make a small change. I mean, I always say do your research because that is important, and there are more than one different ancient grain. I think this is course on. Look at the profiles, the textures, and different things about these products so you'll know which one may suit you. I use einkorn a whole lot.
So one of the reasons why I actually went to this company when I realized I had diabetes. Of course, let me tell you how I actually got to the mindset. I was sitting, I think I was on Amazon Prime or something like that, and a documentary came on. And the whole story of how wheat is our problem today. And then they broke it down to how it became the problem and what they did. So all the issues that we're having today, guys, is stemming from our wheat. And nobody is really talking about it, but it did serve a purpose at first, and nobody knew that it was going to cause this problem. It allowed the world to get more food, but nobody knew that it was going to cause the problem because
30, 40 years later.
Yeah, somebody got a what is it?
Nobel Peace Prize. Dr. Norman Boulay, he got a Nobel Peace Prize in the 70s for creating this hybridized wheat because they grew more wheat and the plants were stronger, structured compared to the original wheat. So that's the issue with ancient grains is that because the stalks grow taller and they blow in the wind or the rain make them lay down, and the farmers were losing money. So Dr. Boulay created this hybridized wheat where it was shorter wheat
And it grew more.
And they grew more wheat. So if it rained or the wind blew, it wouldn't be top heavy and they wouldn't fall. And they wouldn't lose as much money. Well, later on, I mean, we all know that when we tamper with God's work, we mess things up. Well, now we are feeling the effects of that.
Now we know.
What people will say, oh, it's the sugar, oh, it's the salt, oh, it's this. Nobody ever say, check your wheat products.
Yeah, somebody says it's also the pesticides, and that's also, you know, a problem in that. You know, understand, guys, your wheat today in the grocery store has zero, none, no nutritional value.
Yeah, and
it does nothing but gum your insides up and cause inflammation.
And somebody said highly processed grains, not specifically wheat, is more than just wheat.
Yeah,
it is absolutely more than just wheat.
That's true.
So all of your grains, you have to check your grains. All grains are not created equal. Same thing with salts, sugars, everything. You got to look at it with a fine-tooth comb and figure out, is this good?
So when I actually, you know, heard that and then got, you know, diagnosed, you know, that I had blood sugar, we did a deep dive. You know, I got on the website and I looked at every company, and I started realizing, for one, that's when I knew that there was an ancient grain. Like there's a original grain, which I should already knew, but I didn't think about it. And then I started running into them. So then I started looking at the people who actually produced it, and 100% all natural, you know, from regenerative gardening, which is amazing because that means they don't use no chemical fertilizers, they don't use no pesticides, and they grow on lands that they replenish with nutrients, you know, with the old wheats and, you know, animals and all that. So it is all naturally grown, and it was a no-brainer for me. You know, we started using them, and we started talking about them, and we started talking about, you know, grinding your own wheat and making your own bread and all that stuff. And, you know, the owner of the company was like, yeah, you know, that's, you know, we like it. So I talked to him, you know, and we talked to him, and he gave us a story of how he got started and why he started doing what he was doing.
And it was not to have money. Nope. He said he wanted to make a product that his family could consume.
Yep.
If his family can't consume it, they didn't want to grow it. So they started off in a small area of growing wheat. And he said it was something that my family could consume. My friends could consume it. And now they've grown to this. So that is very important because most of these companies, they don't use their own products. They don't eat their own products. And it's a reason behind that. Nobody make bread like us. Nowhere, you go nowhere in the country and find the United States way of making bread. Until we were introduced, until Bobby found these ancient grains, we had no clue. But these things got so much flavor that this berry or this wheat, these grains have so much flavor in them. So you don't have to load it down with a whole bunch of nothing. Sugar to make it sweet. You don't need to put a bunch of salt to make it bring out the flavor in it. The wheat itself has great flavor. So
I was trying to put something in the chat. I was on the wrong thing.
Oh, the ancient grain.
Yeah. So you got the website for me. So if you decide to start using ancient grains, guys, there's a link. You can get them directly from the company. They will literally package your wheat when you order it and ship it to you.
Yeah, so it probably was packaged the same day.
Yeah. So, I mean, going directly through the link is the best way to actually do it if you decide to use it, guys. So I'm telling you, if you have a health problem, I would say if you're not, you know, because you don't know what you don't know, right, until you know it. But I'm telling you, it is a problem. It is a major problem, man. If you think you're doing everything you can to make sure that you're healthy, you are dieting, you exercising, but yet you still got these problems, look at your wheat. Look how much wheat that you are consuming.
Yeah, if you have celiac.
How much grains you're consuming. Even your rices and you know, your wheats. All that stuff is important to know what it could be that's causing you to have the issues that you have.
if you have celiac disease, you want to make sure you're careful with any type of grain or wheat products. So this is Corazon, but they sell a bunch of different grains. So check into the one that may be interesting to you. We got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So somebody asked the difference in Redmond and Celtic. For us, the difference is we don't know what Celtic or Celtic salt process is. We know that they say that it's coming from somewhere overseas, and it's supposed to be a really good salt. Well, we don't know the process. When they harvest Celtic salt in these 7 or 8 different countries that it's coming from, what is the process? We don't know that. It's being packaged in North Carolina. I know she import her salt, which leave a lot of questions. So we stopped because we don't know, we're not sure. So we just stopped because we were using Celtic at first, but we don't know the process, which is kind of scary. So we got away from it. Now we only use Redmond because we know the process. We've been to the mines, we hung out with them for days, learned a lot about it. They were an open book about everything. So now we know the process, we know exactly where it's coming from. It's a protected mine. We went down in the mine, toured that, brought salt out of it ourselves, saw what a bentonite clay is, and that's the biggest difference to us, is we know exactly where our Redmond salt comes from. And it's not coming from, well, it might be coming from Utah, or it might be coming from Wyoming. It's all coming from Utah. It's all packaged in Utah. Now, do that mean somebody won't buy a 55-pound or 55,000-pound bag of salt and package it and do? It's not Redmond's. It may be Redmond salt that they're using, but when they package it, it ain't theirs. Redmond's package their own salt and put their own name on it. Other people don't package their salt.
So we bought rocks home, which are pure salt, and when they do is they chisel the salt out of the mines, and then they will ship it, truck it up and break it down into whatever size you want. If you want coarse or fine. The whole process is as natural as can be. Any company that will allow, people to come in and watch their process. Hey guys, I'm gonna tell you, these people didn't know we were coming. The owners knew, but the employees had no clue. So they were all surprised that we showed up, and we was able to watch their whole process. That's the same thing. We was invited to Grand Teton to watch their process. We've been invited to where we get our meats from, which is, we're not affiliated with them, but I don't need to go. If you're gonna tell me I can come, then I'm sure that what you got going on is legit. Yeah. Because we will tell. Okay, that's the thing.
Yeah, we will tell you don't go there.
Yeah, we are affiliates, right, of these companies, but we only affiliates because we believe in what they're doing and what they got going on. We are influencers, and I know that don't mean something to a lot of people, but if we can influence people to do certain things, we want people to do the right things, positive things. And guys, we're gonna be learning every day. We're gonna always be learning, and whenever we find something new, we learn something new, we're gonna pass that on.
Yeah.
And there's no way I'm gonna sit here and tell you, as an influencer who care about the community, that for one, that you should be eating all this junk, or you should not partner with somebody for life, or all the negative things that they're telling you that's going to not benefit you in the long run. I would never get up here, me or my wife, going to get up here and tell you to do that stuff. This is for, people are doing this for clicks. They messing with your lives for clicks.
Yeah, that's why we had that conversation about soursop.
Mm-hmm.
The soursop is a huge word because a lot of people are suffering with cancer or just cancer alone. A lot of people are after soursop just for cancer alone. Well, we can come on here and say, oh, soursop is, buy this. We can buy the case and sell it. But what good? God don't like ugly. That ain't doing no good. So, yeah, you don't fall for the soursop. You ain't gonna go to Smoothie King or Starbucks or whoever that sell nothing and get soursop. They put a name on it.
Guys, we went and we found that container of soursop in one of the stores in Miami that they are selling on the internet or talking about. And we looked at the ingredients on it, guys. And all it is a bunch of junk that's supposed to resemble what a soursop is. Guys, they got something that they call some kind of gum. But we looked it up. And it said it's the same stuff that they use on the back of wallpaper.
I mean, that's everything. Like even the silicone dioxide,
Wallpaper?
they use that to make batteries.
Guys,
Everything.
our grandmamas, had wallpaper on their walls forever. And that stuff never came down. So we putting that in our bodies. What is that doing to us? And that's to give it that thick consistency. Of course, they said that it's supposed to be safe for.
Yeah, but the bottles say that it's 100% soursop, seedless soursop, meaning they just remove the seeds and put soursop in the container. Soursop is sour. Even the fruit that I just cleaned the other day, it was sour, but it does have a sweet taste.
Yeah, I don't see the sour, but I like acidity. I like the taste.
Whatever it is, it's sour sop. But why add sugar to it to make it sweet? It's soursop, and it's supposed to be medicine and food, but people have gotten it all crazy because they can make money off of it.
Yeah, they pay for a nice fancy container to put it in. Guys, if you're sick, now if you just want something you want to drink and you ain't got no health problems.
But don't think you're drinking soursop.
Yeah, don't think that you're getting soursop.
And don't go to Starbucks or Smoothie King or whoever this is that sell a soursop drink, because trust me, they are not putting soursop in it. They just putting a bunch of fruit in this juice or whatever and mixing some ice with it and some sugar, and they giving it to you and you thinking, oh my God, this is the best soursop drink I ever had. What does soursop taste like?
Yeah, all of a sudden I like soursop, but you ain't never had one.
You ain't never had it.
So you ain't got nothing to compare it to.
The fruit is so hard to explain what it tastes like. Like it smelled almost like a banana, but then I get some pineapple somewhere, maybe an apricot. But the texture is like mushy and not too pleasant. What do soursop taste like? So
and that's when you're
don't let
supposed
them
to eat it. It's supposed to be mushy when you actually open it.
Yeah.
So if you find one of them hard ones that they picked way before it was right, you have to wait until it gets soft.
Yeah.
Now, I try to look up and find out if the benefits of it being picked early was the same as they picked, when it's right. And there's no information on that. So I can't say one way or the other whether or not those ones that you're getting that's completely green and hard is as good as the ones that you're getting when that's almost soft.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What I do know is when you go in the store and you see 100% soursop juice or 100% soursop something in a store, I would walk away from it unless you just want to enjoy a juice.
You just want to.
Don't think you're going to get no benefits from these soursop juices or smoothies or teas that people say they sell. Get you some leaves or get a tree and grow it yourself, because they can't be trusted.
Where did you order organic? No, I didn't see the rest of that message, but I'm not sure what you're talking about.
They said I know something.
Whether you buy organic. Yeah, I can't really tell. Now, I don't think it's soursop season, is it? It's still early.
Soursop. Most people if you go south, people will say, "Oh, my soursops are growing."
Well,
they haven't been harvested yet. Yeah. They say soursop can be a season all year. Of course it can, because some places it's hot where it's freezing in others, and y'all ship soursop everywhere. That's just like you can find tomatoes. Like when I go to the farmer's market in December, I'm like, why they got tomatoes? But okay, organically grown local tomatoes in December. It don't add up.
And most people just don't know, because if you don't grow, you don't know, right?
No.
And if you don't make your food from scratch, you don't know how they're supposed to act.
Yeah.
If you ain't never made a loaf of bread and realize that there's no way my bread lasted as long as the one that I buy from the store, you don't know that that's unnatural for that to be. You know, you thinking
Hey, sis.
it's supposed to be that way, guys. You got like 2 or 3 days where that job start getting hard,
Yeah.
or start getting stale.
So they saying they
Because
can't find.
you're gonna eat it. You're gonna eat it because the mold gonna eat it, or the mold gonna eat it. You know, but that's not
That's
what's
the
gonna
thing.
happen to the bread in the store. It's not gonna happen that way.
Grown in Mexico. So that's the thing. Somebody said I can't find it in Chicago. You don't want to find it. You don't want to, unless you're gonna find the fruit. Now, if you find the fruit itself, I would trust that. But if you find a juice, like people making these juices and different things, just leave it alone. Find some leaves. Or we always say you can grow a soursop plant anywhere, long as you're willing to put it in a pot and bring it in during the winter so that it doesn't get snow or freeze or too much wind. But I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't trust that because you thinking you healing yourself or working towards healing yourself. And the ingredients, that one bottle we found in Miami, it got sugar in it. That alone counts out any benefits if it was any soursop in there.
Good morning, Melissa.
It ain't none.
So that I'm gonna read that comment,
Which
but I
one?
think it's a recipe. I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
I take soursop drops, black seed oil, milk thistle, cayenne pepper, lemon juice, warm on an empty stomach. Do you believe in new, I don't know what it is, aromatic people? I take them.
So we did
I
a.
have parasites and it's affecting my left eye. It blurs vision. It's getting better now after 5 days.
You can get that antibiotic from, not PetSmart. Yeah, go ahead.
I believe everything you tell us today. I take organic soursop drops every morning.
Good. So the thing with soursop, like I made soursop tincture. It doesn't taste the best because I don't like alcohol, but I ain't here for the taste. I'm here for the benefits. So I just drop a little bit under the tongue or put it in some water, but I know it's real soursop tincture because I'm using our leaves to make this tincture with. So you do have to be careful when you're sourcing things, but yeah, I mean, that's a great mixture. Black seed, milk thistle, cayenne pepper, soursop. That's a powerhouse. It's just people lie because people see soursop is, oh man, I can make some money off that. We can make tons of money. Y'all know how much soursop tincture we can make? I mean, we got in there, a bunch of it. But when people say, hey, can I buy soursop tincture from you? I don't make it to sell. I only make it for us, family and friends. I sent my brother and sister-in-law a bottle and I told her, I said, take it, it's disgusting. But take a little drop every day just to keep us well. You can make it. You can get you some leaves, grow you some leaves, but you also want to be careful in that because before we started growing a million soursop trees, we were trying to source leaves from South Florida, and our friend was like, I wouldn't even sell y'all leaves because people spray the trees. And he said, these are some powerful leaves if you can get it in raw form. But if people have sprayed these trees because they want to keep the bugs off or away, he said, you don't want that. And I don't want to do that to y'all. I know how y'all are with y'all followers, so no. But yeah, that's a good one.
And that's amazing because we have built some great relationships with some people down in Florida. And yeah, we can source some of the stuff. But they won't even allow us to sell. You know, they look out for us because they know we don't want all this junk.
Yeah.
And so they know if they can't get it to us the way that we want it, they're not gonna give it to us. And that's great. And that we're gonna give it to y'all.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
And these leaves ain't cheap.
No, not at all.
We were looking to spend thousands of dollars on soursop leaves to have it readily available. But no, not if y'all spraying. I said they gotta be organic. He said, well, you can't get soursop leaves. He said, don't get leaves, just grow your own. So that's why when we run out, we just out. Because we not gonna, a lot of people think when I get this tomato and take it home and wash it or put it in baking soda or vinegar or whatever, I'm gonna clean it off and then it's good to eat. It's just like us. Once we put that pain away on us, it absorbs through the skin because your pain go away, right? It's the same thing with our fruit and vegetables. once you put them chemicals on it, it absorbs through the skin, and now it's in the body of that tomato. So you can wash the surface of it, but it's still inside. When you boil them leaves, all you boiling is them chemicals and pesticides that's in there, which are worse than anything. So the benefits of what the leaves could have done for you, they canceled out with all the chemicals.
So just a lady, I think it said just a lady, she said that she just bought a bunch of them back from Mexico. And she wanted to know how you make the tincture.
Oh, so the soursop tincture is, what we do is we get the leaves off our trees and freeze dry them. So when we freeze dry our leaves, we lock in all of...
You can dehydrate
all of. So when you freeze dry leaves, we lock in all of the nutrients. You can dehydrate them, but you may cook some of the nutrients out of the leaves, because with freeze drying, you freezing it. With dehydrating, you add heat to it, which can sometimes mess up the benefits. And all I do is I put it in a jar. I fill my jar with, we use a big jar for soursop. But all you do is you fill your jar with leaves and put alcohol on it. Something like Everclear, 80 proof or higher alcohol. And you let it sit for 6 to 8 weeks. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to my tinctures. So my tinctures are in there and they full of the product and liquid. I need to strain them, but I just strain them as I pour them in little bottles. And they are good. I think our soursop been sitting there probably about 1.5 years, 2 years. It's disgusting.
It is an amazing tea though, guys.
It's a great tea.
It's a tea that tastes so good that you don't need to put nothing with it at all. And that's ideal, especially if you're going through something. If you got a problem, being able to enjoy, it's pleasant, it's not bitter or sour, it's a nice, pleasant taste. And one of the benefits is anxiety. It's one of the things that I started taking when I first started talking on social media. I got a lot of anxiety for public speaking. And I will take and ball up or steep out some leaves right before we went live every time. And when I tell you guys, if anybody got any strong issue with anxiety, I'm gonna tell you this stuff works amazing. To the point where if you actually going through anxiety at the moment and you drink it, shortly after you will feel the anxiety just going away. Now, if you drink it before you start getting anxiety, you probably won't feel that much. But I'm telling you, if your anxiety is already up because something going on, I don't know, maybe you about to do some public speaking, maybe you about to go someplace and you don't like being around people like that, or whatever's going on, and you decide to sip on that tea, that anxiety will go down. And we did, I think it was 3 years ago, we first did an evaluation or a talk about soursop. And that's when we heard about the cancer fighting benefits of soursop. And of course, we got a book around somewhere with all our notes in it that's talking about the soursop and the benefits of the leaves and the benefits of the fruit. And I'm telling you guys, they do so much. That's not a book, is it?
It might be somewhere in there. I got notes everywhere.
But it's so many benefits to it. And you know what will get you guys is that it said then that it's believed to, help fight cancers and all these other, but you're talking about the results have, there's more studies to be done. So I looked today, and it's still saying more studies to be done.
But it's a reason for that.
Yeah, why the studies haven't been done? That's an important thing. That's an important reason to, to be actually going to do that work, because there's people dying from this stuff or catching it every day.
But what about the people that have been diagnosed and they cured themselves by using things like soursop?
Yeah, we done had people come in the chat and say that that's how they actually got rid of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just drinking the tea. So that's why I say don't fall for these soursop things that you see in the store. The leaves of the tree is just as important as the actual fruit, and that is safer than the fruit, especially here in the United States, because again, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. We could have bought cases of that soursop pulp with those seeds and sold them for $50, $60 easily. And people would have been like, oh, I can't get it, let me get it. No, I'm not going to do that to you. We're not going to do that to you because, again, God don't like ugly. So this is what our tinctures normally look like. Our products. This is just a tincture. As you can see, it is full, but it's full of plant matter still, and alcohol is in there. But we also keep some. These are just loose tea bags. So if we just want tea, we can make a cup of tea. If we just want a tincture, we take a drop of Mr. Nasty right here. And it's gonna do 10 times more than what these synthetic meds will do that they are making and giving us. This is God's medicine. And this has been sitting since 10/12/2022. We are now in 2025, and we just use it as we need it. I remember Bobby was catching cramps. What was that? A little bit over a year ago or something? And I made him a tincture. I put a tincture in his drink to stop his cramps, along with some salt, red and real salt. I don't think he caught a cramp since.
Everything.
That was last summer.
And guys, these are things we are finding out. Let me mention, if you have not given us a reaction, guys, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, follow the channel. If you want to be notified whenever we release or we go live, hit that bell if you're on YouTube. Give us some hearts. You can double tap the screen on YouTube, and it will give us a reaction. We appreciate you. Again, guys, Instagram, we appreciate y'all being here. We have finally found a way where we can actually incorporate y'all into our lives. We've been going live at least once or twice a week.
Everywhere else. Everywhere else.
We're glad y'all can join us. I see some amazing conversations going on over there.
Yeah.
That's one thing, guys, we do employ you to talk to each other. I've seen people giving other people advice, on what they can do with issues and stuff, because we're a community, guys. Our goal is to have enough people together to where any information that we need to find out, we can find out from each other.
We are YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads. We are Black Tropical Homestead across all platforms, and we are Bobby and Sherry Lifestyle on Facebook also. We have 2 Facebooks.
Yeah, and that's right. We don't use Bobby and Sherry on YouTube that much, but we will eventually start.
It is, but I'm like on YouTube. So somebody was asking that. They said soursop would interact with their prescription meds. So let me tell you how I feel. And this is just how I feel about natural medicine and prescription meds. We had this conversation during SoilFamily Expo because some people were saying, I can't eat grapefruit because I take blood pressure medicine. And I was like, I ate grapefruit the whole time. I was on blood pressure medicine for 20-something years, and that's one of my favorite breakfast fruits is pink grapefruit. I cut it up and eat it just like that, and it ain't nothing. I don't know, maybe it was running my blood pressure. No, that's not it. So what they'll tell you is you can't eat this with your medicine 9 times out of 10 is because they both gonna do the same thing. The only difference is one is synthetic and one is natural. So it's almost like I gotta pick and choose, do I want natural or do I want the synthetic? So they may tell you, if not my doctor, but if I'd have told a doctor, I take cayenne pepper and beet to see if it's going to help my blood pressure, they'd probably say, you don't want to do that because you already on 3 different kind of blood pressure medicine, and what you don't want to do is drop it too low. Huh? So you want to be careful with the cayenne. Why? But why would you tell me to be careful with cayenne? Help me understand that. Well, if basically, and what I was hearing or what I would hear is, if you take this cayenne and beat and your blood pressure come down, you ain't gonna need my synthetics and we want our money. So you gotta pick and choose your battle.
And you do have to pick your battle.
I want natural. That's where I'm at now. I took my blood pressure medicine for 20 something years until one day something said, and I always say when something says, it's 9 out of 10 God saying stop. That's God trying to tell you something. So when that something said, don't take this medicine this morning. Take that cayenne and trust God. My blood pressure has been good ever since.
Thank you, Desi girl.
Thank you, Desi
For
girl.
the super chat, right?
We appreciate you. Yep. So that's why they tell you, be careful with something like soursop. It's natural. God don't put nothing here to hurt us. Man, look at the side effects. The synthetics, look at the fine print. They'll tell you don't eat seeds. This is why they make all this seedless stuff. It is almost impossible to find seeded grapes. That's another cure for cancer. Eat the seeds. Eat the seeds. If you can find seeded grapes, you want it. And you want to eat the seeds too. Of course, they'll say, oh, you can't eat the seeds because on some things you don't want to consume the seeds. But you ain't going to find soursop without the seeds. They'll tell you that the seeds from the soursop contain an oil that can mess your system up bad. You don't want to eat them seeds, but you do want to grow another tree with that.
So
But some things they will tell you, do not eat these seeds or they'll make it seedless because the seeds heal. We even, papaya with no seed, that's your parasite medicine. We need that. We need the seeds. So, you know, it's all up to you to pick and choose that battle when it comes to don't eat this because you take this kind of medicine.
So guys, I know we talk like everybody is familiar with who we are and what we do and our background, you know, our story. My wife, she was on blood pressure meds for 20-something years. She had injuries that she occurred, you know, at work as a nurse, which made her have to have a surgery on her back.
I had surgery. I used to get injections on the regular for pain and inflammation, therapy, years of therapy, and I dealt with it. High blood pressure for 25 years. I broke my back in 2013, so I dealt with that pain and discomfort for until last year when I decided I'm gonna trust God and His medicine. We do dabble and play a lot. I was telling my mom the other day, I said, I know that I hyper focus on things. Like, I was fixed on toilet paper last week. I said, I was doing a deep dive on toilet paper. She probably was like, Lord, what's wrong, my child? I said, because, you know, the UTIs come from the things we drank, or this and the third, or our clothes. We got like 10 notebooks around information because I write down everything. But then I try to find how can we fix this issue. And then my husband somewhere else hyper-focused on something else and doing research on something else. But what we have learned is you can cure yourself. You know, we trust the wrong doctors, but we have two doctors that are bigger than life itself. And the first one is God and the second one is us, because we have to do the work to be able to keep ourselves healthy. So once we found a formula that worked for us, one for me and one for my husband, we talk about it. And we also encourage people to not make somebody be on your level because on the same page as you. What worked for you may not work as good for somebody else. But to be pain-free, blood pressure is good, synthetic medicine free for a whole year is amazing. For my husband to be synthetic free, because when he was diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes, we were like, no, we're going to change our diets and we're going to do better. Life has been great, but I say it's all thanks to God.
Yeah. My wife was on the highest strength of blood pressure meds.
All three of them.
And because we actually went, natural with cayenne, beets, and castor oil, she was able to get off all her blood pressure meds and all pain meds. We did that all naturally. Now, I want y'all to sit there and I want y'all to think about the difference in price. How much would it cost you to every day take all these blood pressure meds, all these pain meds, these doctor visits? Imagine that price versus the price of maybe growing a cayenne plant, growing some beets, or getting it from a trusted source, and a bottle of castor oil, maybe $20, $30, depending on what size you get. And there's no side effects to none of that.
Not God's
So
medicine.
I went all my life not having a problem. And I went to the doctor and did a checkup, and they told me my blood pressure was high. Now guys, we were already eating better. We was baking our own breads and all the stuff, and how in the world is my blood pressure high? And they saying you got diabetes. So I'm sitting there like, how is this possible? Now I know I eat a lot because, I lift weights and I felt like I needed to ingest a lot of food. I didn't stress it too much, so the fact that how did I go my whole life and not have these problems, and now all of a sudden I got them. So because my wife was able to get off of her blood pressure medicine, I wouldn't even worry about that. So I went ahead and got on some cayenne and beets. And guys, the next day my blood pressure was great.
Yeah, when we went to the doctor, they said, we can't treat his blood pressure because there ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
So we were like, oh, okay.
There's no doubt that absolutely works. And when I had the blood sugar, we had a conversation prior to all that, and I found out that, hey, if I do a carnivore diet, this may help. Now, this was coming from people who already had the same issue, and this is how they fixed their diabetes, is through a carnivore diet. So they gave me some names. Their names were Eat Like a Human. And we looked into that, and then, me and my wife, we bought half a cow, and some butters, and some good olive oils, and, good cheeses, and that's what I ate. Within a month, my blood sugar was amazing. And we have talked about this, and other people. We had testimonies from other people. People who've been on blood pressure medicine all their lives, and they are no longer on them. And if you don't know, like I say a lot, we're people of service, right? And the fact that we actually making a difference to people is major.
Thank you, Jeff.
And the fact that, we can talk, share our experiences, have people think about it and actually incorporate it in their lives, and then tell us what you told us actually has done some amazing things for us.
Yes.
Even the growing, the gardening, we have people starting to grow and garden, and now they're introducing their kids and their grandkids to gardening and growing. How many kids today are not having no experiences like this, where they're not producing no foods? They don't even know how. They can't even contemplate that their food come from any place besides a grocery store. So all that's amazing, because we know that kid will grow up with that in their mind and possibly pass that on to their kids, who may do some major things in this industry. So passing on knowledge is really, really important, and the fact that we actually make a difference is what we want. That's our goal. I say if you are, on these platforms and you want to be an influence, then you should be a positive influence to make the world better. We're trying to bring good, like-minded people together, because there's a lot of us, but we don't know each other because we spread thin, right? So being able to have a community of people that wants better for us all. We don't divide between race, religion, sex, any of that stuff. We don't care where you go to church. We don't care, what your race is. We don't care none of that stuff. Good people that's treating people good, that's not out here trying to hurt and divide everybody is our goal, and to bring each other together so we can live a better, healthier life. We want to be like back in the day where everybody came together to make a whole.
Community was everything.
And it's that way some places.
Some places.
We had traveled, and I'm sure, I was sitting there like, I bet these people look at us like, what you mean community? Like, this is how we do.
And then there are some places that's trying to figure out how do we get community together.
Yeah, or don't know nothing about it. Don't even understand the concept of it.
Yeah. So I got 2 questions. I don't know if I can't see YouTube, so I can't see none of YouTube. Mm-hmm. But I got 2 questions. One question was about cayenne and beets. So the thing with taking cayenne and beets for high blood pressure is you have to figure out what's gonna work for you, because only you know your body. So like I can take I started off with a 1/4 teaspoon. I take about a teaspoon a day now, but I also use to season our foods with. But what we take it in is capsule. I don't have it out. We take it in capsule form, and you can take 1 to 3 capsules or 1 to 3 teaspoons or a 1/4 teaspoon or so of powder every day. You just have to see what your body, how much or how little your body may need. I just take it once a day and we do good with that. Some people need it 3 times a day. Cayenne is a service herb that it was designed to feed us and keep us well. Most people look at cayenne as, it's just too hot. I don't like hot food, but I take cayenne every single day. That stuff is amazing.
Yeah, when we first started talking about that, people was asking us, do you sell it? Do you sell it? Well, we started making capsules for the people who can't grow it and won't grow it. We do sell capsules. We sell a lot of them. So you can either go and make them yourself, or you can purchase them from us. We're not pressed because we sell a lot of them, and yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of work. We don't mind it, but it's still a lot.
Yeah, some people might say, well, I'm gonna grow my own and do. That's what we want you to do.
Yeah, grow it.
That is the best way to get them. And if you can't, some people say I'm gonna run to the store and get some organic cayenne powder. I say
no.
I would grow it. I ain't gonna tell you don't do that at all, because that might be all you can get right now.
I would say go find some kind of market that sells whole cayenne.
Yeah, I would definitely find somewhere. It ain't easy. Yeah, it's not easy to find cayenne.
They put stuff in whenever they sell powders and stuff. They put stuff in there to stop it from caking up, and that stuff is bad for you.
But
so make sure try to find something a little more natural, organic.
But don't look at, because they'll sell you chili pepper as if it is cayenne, and it's not. Mm-hmm. So you just got to be careful with that. And the second question, we buy our meat from Hunter Cattle Company. We buy, because we just buy the whole pig or the whole cow or half a cow or something, but it's coming straight from the farm. For as far as somebody asked about the Soleil water recipe. So this is Soleil water. Soleil water is good hydration. It can balance off your electrolytes. It can possibly detox you. It's good for cramps, digestion, energy, skin health, and can improve your sleep because it's giving you all the nutrients and vitamins you need. In this jar, Wednesday, I think when I was live, I poured about a 1/4 cup of Redmond salt in here, and then I filled it up with water. It was nice and pink and cloudy. This is the Soleil water. I have salt at the bottom. You can see that pink at the bottom, meaning my water has absorbed all of the nutrients that it can, and it just left that little residue, and you want to see that residue down there. So you'll put your 1/4 cup of salt and water in a jar, mix it, and just let it sit. In the morning, tomorrow, in 24 hours, it should be nice and clear like this with a little bit of salt at the bottom. So even if I shake this up, that salt that's there going to eventually fall to the bottom again, and that water will be nice and clear again.
And that's because the water is fully infused. It can't hold no more.
Can't hold nothing else. So, and if you wake up and all the salt is gone, put a couple tablespoons of salt in there to make sure that you have your water fully infused with that. And then you take about what we put is like a tablespoon. I think it's like what is this, a 32-ounce cup or something, a 40-ounce cup? But I put like a tablespoon in here. Bobby just poured his because I got a gallon. He got a gallon jug. But a little bit of that in your water. And you can take that a couple times a day.
And that will allow your body to use the water like it's supposed to. That is so important, guys. Your cells need to be hydrated, and your organs need to be hydrated, your brain needs to be hydrated. Mm-hmm. So guys, we do have a website, Tropical Homestead. I'm going to tell you, if you're on pain meds or you have arthritis, you all need Pain Away. Pain Away is an all-natural herb supplement that we make that works really, really fast and will work on the problem. Not block pain receptors, not pacify, will actually work on the problem that you got. And over time, will completely fix it. But will get rid of that pain wherever you got it at. And I say everybody that's using pain meds need to try the Pain Away so you do not have to ingest those poisons.
It's all natural.
Yeah, you're talking about tearing up your organs with those pain meds, and all they're doing is blocking pain receptors and doing nothing to fix those problems. You need it.
Hey, Jerry.
And I'm real passionate about that because I know what that does to people. How it tears up your insides and how it makes you have to take more meds, how people get addicted to those drugs, guys. That's opium and heroin and cocaine and stuff that's in those pills that you're being addicted to. That's the reason why people are melting that stuff down and injecting it into their veins. It is drugs, but in order for you to get the effect, your body got to do a lot with it, and that is hard on your organs. And all it does is go up there and block your pain receptors, and they ain't doing nothing. So we like dropping our pain away when people got arthritis, or when we meet people, we always drop pain away on them and let them see how amazing it can be. Now, I know how that sounds. I know how apprehensive that can be. I say look at and talk to the people who actually have tried it. If you go on our website, you can see reviews. Only way you can leave a review on our website is if you're a customer. If you have purchased that product, you can leave a review. You can't leave it no other way. And a lot of times you can look in the chats and you will see people. I'm passionate about Pain Away. It is my baby because I love it. And the fact that it works immediately, it works really fast, and it gives people that relief. And if you can get off pain meds, you are doing yourself a great, great service. So that is one of my favorites. But, yam cream is really, really important too.
Well, all of it. I mean, even the soap.
Everything we sell.
You want to get away from the junk and the soap products, and so we, as natural as possible, that's what we need now. It's hard in this world because of the air we breathe. Like, we can't stop breathing, right? But we can make better choices in some things. So all of our products to me are important. I use our magnesium every day. I use Pain Away maybe 3-4 times a month. Sometimes if I have an extra pain or something, I'll use it. But I'm pain-free since I started using it. So I don't use it every day. I use it pretty much as a preventative and as needed. I use wild yam 3 weeks out the month. I use our soap every single day. I take cayenne every single day. And cayenne, I say start off at a 1/4 teaspoon. So you can take between a 1/4 teaspoon and a teaspoon up to 3 times a day. It just depends on your body and how much you need.
I will monitor myself so you can know. You may be able to take 1 pill, and that's going to knock out your blood pressure problems, So you take it, you check your blood pressure, and then to see what it's doing. Now, what we tell you not to do is to take the cayenne and allow it to drop your blood pressure, then take your blood pressure meds, which is going to make it drop further. So cayenne as a service herb, it's only gonna drop it if it's needed. But your synthetics will drop it regardless.
That's what they designed to do. Me, I like explaining the cayenne pepper. Like my husband said, it's a service herb. And what it do is when you take cayenne and say, what do you need me today? You might be low on energy and they say, you want to be lazy, huh? So let's give you some energy. Or it may say, oh my God, you got a little bit more inflammation, or you got some inflammation here, let's work on that. If your blood pressure high, it's going to drop your blood pressure. You may have an ulcer and it need to work on that ulcer. The cayenne will do what it needs to do. The synthetic is going to do what it was given to you for. That's my blood pressure medicine. I'm taking this because I got ulcers. Or this is my energy pill. Cayenne is there to service whichever one, or distribute between a couple of them, whichever one it needs. If you have asthma, I did see somebody say that if they have asthma, can they take cayenne? Absolutely. Cayenne has helped some of our clients with asthma. They said, since I've been taking cayenne, I don't have these issues with my asthma anymore. So again, do your own research, but cayenne is an amazing healer. That's one of God's medicines. It's a plant. And it's simply to do exactly what it's supposed to. It's our food and our medicine. So if you don't need it and you use cayenne, guess what? You just fed yourself some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. So B-Miles want to know what's for cramps. So we don't know what kind of cramps you're talking about. I mean, you talking like Charlie horses, or are you talking about menstrual cramps?
Well, you definitely need some salt. Salt is great for cramps. Magnesium is great for cramps. The Soleil water, if you make this Soleil water, put a little bit in your water, or just take some Redmond salt and sprinkle it in your hand and eat it a little bit. That'll help with your cramps. But I would say do the Soleil water, or at least add some salt to your water so you can drink that throughout the day, and that should stop those cramps, period. Things like goldenrod are good for cramps, but just you probably need to up your salt intake. And not all salts are created equal. Some salts are trash and they should be in the trash. But get you a good salt like Redmond and use that one. Wild yam cream is good for hormone imbalance. So if you have menopause issues, ED, low sperm count, heavy cycles, painful cycles, irregular cycles, thyroid issues, wild yam cream. Mood swings, and wild yam is good for men and women.
So on our website, we do have a magnesium body butter. Now, you can make your own magnesium, find you some magnesium flakes and some distilled water, equal parts, and make that. Or you can purchase, our magnesium body butter, which I like. The magnesium body butter was made for me. My wife, we was making the oil.
You're welcome, Deborah.
And you have to spray yourself a lot, so you wet, and it would have me ashy looking, but it didn't do that to her.
No, it doesn't. It does the body, and some people say that, yeah, when they make the spray, what you said is equal parts distilled water to magnesium chloride flakes, and you can find it on our Amazon storefront. You have to spray yourself like 40 times a day, and that's an allotted dose for magnesium. And what I do is I spray myself 15 times in the morning and 15 times at night, 15 to 20 times in the morning and then again at bedtime. But you are wet because I sprayed all over myself. And Bobby would turn ashy when it dried up. It looked like, you could see the salt pockets or wherever he sprayed himself, you could see it had dried up there. So we started making a triple strength body butter, which he loved a whole lot better. I use the body butter. You cannot OD on magnesium if you use too much. Like sometimes I spray myself and I rub my feet down and rub my legs, and I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. That's all. It'll just send you to the bathroom. God didn't make anything to hurt us.
And I know a lot of people probably don't understand the aspect of putting something on your skin and it working. It is way better. It actually absorbs through your skin, which is your biggest organ, and it addresses the problem. Now, when you put it into your mouth, it's got to go through your digestive system and work its way through your body, and hopefully it will actually get to where it needed. Using a topical method is the best way. If you don't believe that everything that you put on your body literally goes into your body, use our pain away oil
That's why that
on your pain and watch how that pain go away. That right there will tell you. My skin absolutely absorbs whatever I put on it. So that's why most of our products, most of our products are topical. So our soaps are really important. Our shampoos are really important. Our toothpastes, all that stuff is really important because if we touch our body with it, it's in our body.
Yeah. You ain't gonna wash it all right quick.
A lot of people don't know that. And them soaps are full of chemicals and junk and all kind of stuff.
Even our toilet paper. I don't know why I was on that manhunt with toilet paper. But the toilet paper, all the toilet papers, most of them in the store are made with forever chemicals. And when you touch it and wipe yourself with it, and then think about it. You wiping some of the most delicate areas on your body with this poison, and it's entered our body. They killing us, but they can't even wipe my butt. Can't even wipe their own butt piece. So you just gotta be careful in everything. Makeup, you name it. You just won't. We have to slow down and pay attention to the ingredients. Our life depends on us to slow down, but Big Pharma and the government, they know we ain't got time to slow down.
What's the best herb for muscle building? I don't know. What you want to do is make sure your body is functioning correctly. Make sure your blood sugar is good, your blood pressure is good. Make sure your hormones are okay, and then eat correctly. So protein is needed when you actually trying to build muscle. Without it, you're not. You got to be able to uptake water. So you got to make sure your minerals are on point. So if your body can't uptake water the way it's supposed to, because your magnesium levels are off or some of your other nutrients are off, you're not going to gain muscle. I lost a lot of muscle when I had diabetes, and I started losing the weight before I found out that I actually was doing it, and I still was going to the gym on the regular. I attribute that to getting old, until I found out I had diabetes. And then once I started eating right and my blood sugar went down, my weight started coming back. Of course, fat started coming back faster than muscle, but I just started picking my size back up. Because I always worked out, my body just kind of went back to trying to get back to normal. So I would say, the supplements, I wouldn't worry. Creatine is good because it's an all natural supplement, but you got to find a good one. And you can use a protein supplement, but you have to find a good one because most of that stuff is junk too. Food is what you want. So if you can find some good meats and make sure your nutrients is up, you're going to be able to gain muscle. You got to put in the work too, guys. You got to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But understand, guys, with the wild yam cream, understand the root of the wild yam cream is what they use to try to make their hormone balance and what is it called? What's that thing we do in the medical field? Balance hormone?
Hormone replacement therapy.
Hormone replacement therapy. So what they did is took the root from the wild yam cream and tried to duplicate the results of that. Now, that costs you tens of thousands of dollars to do it. Don't work that well. The roots that we use are the actual wild yam cream, the wild yam root. They work amazingly. And we use the root. We don't use no kind of, extracts or none of that stuff there. We use the actual roots in our products. And I said, go and look at the reviews. We're at the point now where there's been enough people that actually you can learn, you can hear that from other people. Me and her both have a problem with being salespeople. So we don't really like talking about our stuff like that, make us feel uncomfortable a little bit, but we got to get it out there, right? So in order for you to know about it, we got to talk about it some. But now that we got so many people who have tried our products and have tried it, and can talk about it, you know, that makes it so much better. But we know that there are people, Black's Tropical, been going for a while. We haven't been on Instagram. They're going to be hearing this all for the very first time, and we want to make sure that we repeat some of this stuff so that if you are one of them people that's in that space where you're having issues and you don't know what you can do or what's possible, you know, you heard what we got to say also. Do your research. We're not doctors, definitely not yours. So do your research on anything you heard us talk about and find out if what we're saying is actually fact. And then, you know, do what you feel like is best for you and your family. But, you know, we're not going to sit here and talk about nothing that we don't really believe in.
We are in the state of Georgia. Well, actually, we in Savannah, Georgia. But yeah, which is not a part of Georgia, I heard.
Our website is blackstropical.com.
Already dropped it. So, all right. I got work to do.
Yeah, we do. Sunday came up.
And the sun is out. So you have fun with that. Yesterday it was like 98 degrees. When we came out of church, we was running to the car. I was like, everybody, your sister said, oh, I ain't even think to start my car. I said I was in there like, I should start the car. I know we ready to go outside. It is hot here. But don't let that stop you from going out and being one with the ground. Grow your groceries. It is very important because, again, they like playing in our face. Labels lie. They play so many tricks on us. And it's costing us our health, our kids' health, our loved ones' health. And that's just not fair. If we take the time to read the ingredients and find out what's in it and what's going on, even though it's not all going to be right there written on the label, it does benefit us to read the labels, because when you start paying attention to the labels, you'll see that, man, this is crazy. And we'll show y'all some of that. But most of all, we want y'all to have an amazing day. Do something you love. It's Sunday. I don't know, for Sunday dinner. I don't know what I'm gonna cook. Oh, I'm gonna cook taco soup for dinner. That's what I'm cooking. So y'all have an amazing day.
We appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow the channel, you know, ring the bell.
And if you place any orders, your orders will start going out tomorrow. We were caught up on orders Thursday. So all orders will be shipped tomorrow. If the order up to now. So
This has been an amazing conversation. We will continue. We appreciate all y'all for joining us this morning. Till the next time, guys.
don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't be looking crazy at me. It was all. I'm like, why are you licking my feet?
Give me some attention.
Man, you're like, oh, I don't move back over here. Y'all finish. Okay.